Okay, today Adam and I are going to talk about fear. Now, we've never really had this conversation, have we, Adam?
No, I think we like to pretend we're not scared of anything, to be honest.
This is true. This is true. So, okay, off the top of your head, what's your biggest fear right now?
Probably this conversation. That's a really interesting question. I mean, I think to say you're not scared of anything is ridiculous. Everyone's scared of something. It's kind of just a matter of how you process that and then fuel it into either something productive or something negative.
Destructive,
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, fear of failure, sure. I mean, I'm an oldest kid, right? I collect accomplishments like trophies, you know. That probably goes back to growing up, like fear of disappointing my parents, you know, especially, again, being the oldest. I don't know, can you relate to that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I recognized, I think, a fear of failure in growing up. Like it wasn't anything, it's not like my parents were hard on me. They always were supportive and, oh, you know, make sure you just have fun and is the learning experience, all this stuff. So it came just from an inside fear of not being perfect, not being what I expected to be. And those expectations were fairly high. So like that drove me to be very competitive in all my sports and everything. And then with this, you know, owning a business, there's definitely a fear of failure. And I think the biggest fear is that for me, we have to go backwards.
What do you mean? Like start today and then we're back to?
Like I fear that we'd have to go back. And like there was a time when we were employees or just, you know, me as a contractor. It was this whole totally different business mentality, right? Like you just you plug into your day job and you leave it at 5 and you go home. And since we've really started Enta, life has been just this amazing journey that makes me excited every single day. I have this fear that I'll have to go back to that.
Yeah, I would say there's kind of both. The fear that we'll fail and have to limp back to, you know, the corporate ladder, and then also fear that we'll succeed beyond our wildest expectations. Like that scares me a little bit too.
That fear I'm better with though.
You know, they say it's our greatest what we can be in our moments that we're scared of, or something along those lines. I mean, I can relate that to when I was deciding to make this leap for sure.
Right.
You know, to really embrace what I felt was what I wanted to do, like that was terrifying.
Yeah.
But I think that the scariest thing, I tell this to my kids all the time, I'm like, the scariest things are always the best. So just remember that. Scared you are, the bigger, more proud, more great it's going to be. So
that's cool. My child doesn't have fear.
Yeah.
So.
There you go. Yeah. So you're terrified all the time. Yeah.
So I'm terrified all the time. Yeah. I mean, there's always that fear. Like every time we start a project or every time we start a new client or kick off a new initiative, there's like a initiation fear of like, okay, are we ready? Can we do this? What's this gonna be? What's this gonna turn into? But I mean, with the economy the way it is and the COVID crisis and everybody's kind of, you know, not really spending money. Everybody's kind of in survival mode. I'm like, there's a fear, like what? And I don't know if you know this, but I made a deal with my husband that if we couldn't get like support, like the back to where we were before by Christmas, I would essentially apply as a contractor somewhere.
Okay.
Just to get him to stop chirping at me. Because there was a lot of, well, you got to make money. I mean, and the fact of the matter is we've got households to support and a family to support.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, you got to make money. He's like, I don't care how you do it, go make money. And so, and I think that a lot of that comes from the stress of being on mat leave and EI for a year. And it was tough, right? Going down to one income from a double income family. But so we made this deal. Like I said, you know what, you don't give me any flack. We can revisit this conversation in December. But just let me do what I think's best. And so I have a fear that I'm not going to accomplish what I think we can accomplish in that time.
Mm. Yeah, the unknown future is terrifying, right? But I also think that there's few times in your life where your path like opens up. You know, it's like you graduate high school, you choose universities, and you've got, where do I go? It's terrifying. What if I go here and I miss out on that, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of thinking in that way. And then you graduate, you get a job, and then you're thinking of leaving that job. Well, all my friends are here, but there's better opportunity there. Or this is a great opportunity, just for whatever reason I'm not happy, I'm gonna leave, right? Like, do I have kids? Does it make economic sense, right? I'm not ready. I think
side note, no one is ever ready for kids.
And that's kind of my next point. Like those three words are probably, I feel like, are the most hold so many people back from so much. Oh, I'm not ready for that. Like, oh, I can't do that. Because marriage, kids, new house, new job, starting a business, all these things, all the biggest, greatest, most amazing things in your life, you're never ready for. I think it's a leap every time. Right?
It's true. Yeah.
So I guess learning to embrace it and recognize it, like, oh yeah, this is one of those terrifying things. Like I should just jump like straight into the light
Lean
because
in.
I know how awesome.
Lean in.
Like,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I have a terrible time in business. Like my parents and brother and sister, I don't like to do it because it's like too close to, like, that fear of failure is like surfaces. So it's amazing the different people can bring out different fears based on context, history, relationships, all these things. Which is why I think it's so important to have whatever, a father, a friend, a spouse, an uncle, someone kind of in your corner no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Someone to say, hey, you're not crazy, this is pretty awesome, keep going, and keep going.
Right. You're not crazy. That's the best words ever.
Yeah. Well, I actually today heard a really good analogy. It said, well, if you plant a seed, you don't go back every day and like dig it up and check it out and then bury it and then dig it up and then check it out and then bury it. You leave it. You just water it and you know that it's going to come.
You trust.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just leave it and water it. Just trust that it's coming. And that kind of feels a little like that, but it's that idea of faith, right? And people around you having faith in you, you having faith in yourself, your partner. That's scary. for me.
Yeah, it is. I think that comes from too, like we like things we can control. And when things are outside of our control, I mean, it's scary. It's scary because you're still impacted by it, but there's nothing you can do. And so, there's certain things that are outside our control. And I think you and I, we've used this time to do a lot of really good things but that's because we can control those things. Like, right, we're focused in our circle of control. Well, what can we do? Well, we can build stuff, we can automate, we can do this stuff, we can come up with innovative ideas. It's within our circle of control. And funny enough, we talk about this a little bit, like I don't fear about, like, we'll eventually hit it. Do you know what I mean? I just hope that we can do it before we have to take a step back, before we reach a point in our business, because surprise, we're not millionaires yet. So, so they'll reach a point where the funds are gone, and if we don't get the momentum we're expecting to get, what do? We have to take a step back. And that scares me, because I really don't want to ever have to take a step back. I love the direction we're going. I love the things that we're doing.
Yeah. I think maybe that fear fuels the fire a little bit. I mean, if I look at the pace for which we've worked, like, people ask me, like, well, you're not very busy. I don't know, you don't have very many clients. Like, oh man, I'm so busy.
Been busier. I know.
It's been quarantine, and I haven't turned my TV on in 2 months because I put the kids to bed, and all I do is peck away at the computer for 2 hours for bed, playing with this, playing with that, building this, answering that, preparing for tomorrow, filming videos, putting stuff online. That's the game. And maybe that little bit of fear is a good thing, kind of over here. Because otherwise, just like procrastinating even just a little bit for a moment, you could miss the bus, right?
Are you afraid that we will have to dissolve our company ever? Are you afraid of that possibility?
No. I was far more terrified of taking the leap than I am of failing, to be honest. And I think some of that is maybe my own, I don't know, ego or whatever. But I don't fail at stuff. I never have. I'm okay with new things. I usually try new things, and I usually win them. And it drives people around me crazy. And I don't think that's because I'm really good at lots of things. It's because I'm good at picking things that play to my strengths. I've been contemplating this recently. It's not that I'm good at stuff. It's that I'm good at picking stuff, picking the right things. And I don't know how else to explain it. It just feels right. It feels good. So
yeah.
I would be far more surprised if we failed than if we succeeded. Which sounds like hubris, and maybe it is, but
I don't know. I'll take it. It's comforting for me. And I know what you mean, though. Like, back when I was a kid, figure skating competitions, I failed a lot at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of I hit a stride. I really, took it to the next level, more lessons, more training, more practicing. And then it was a complete flip. And I won every competition that I would go to. And I would climb and climb and climb up
Mm-hmm.
But failing first gave me a greater appreciation for it,
Mm.
But it was one of those things where I then got used to not ever failing. And then in university, I failed 2 courses in my first year. There's a whole bunch of reasons around that. And I was devastated. that I failed these things. And I get really, like, it shook me to the core. And I went back in the summer and took the 2 courses so I could stay on with all the people that I had started with. And I actually ended up tutoring people in my classes the next year, and I was fine after that. But it gave me this sense of, okay, yes, I have a fear of failure, but I don't know how to fail because I won't stop trying.
And that, I think that learning to fail is important, and it comes often in athletics or in school. Like for me, it took the place of martial arts. I think just learning that your boundaries are imaginary. I think like
Ooh, I like
sports,
that.
exhaustion. For me, like training Muay Thai, especially as a kid, I was like 14, training with a bunch of adults, like world champions, like big players in like a downtown basement gym, like straight out of the movies, like very legit. It was terrifying. I look back, I'm still scared thinking about it, but it kind of taught me to just keep going no matter what, and that no matter what anybody tells you, no matter what you think, you know, the boundary right in front of you, you think, oh my God, I can't go any further, and yet you're still there an hour later, you're still going. So, you know, the same thing, your fears, your emotions, your body, even with exhaustion, it's lying. It's, you have more. It's a matter of trusting that.
I really
You know,
like that. I like the way you said
I always
that.
say at the gym, like,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, we say like, if you don't have energy left now, borrow it from tomorrow. Keep going, keep
I
going.
think I'm borrowing it into the next lifetime. Is that okay?
Yeah, exactly.
But I liked how you said
You know, like,
that learning that your boundaries are imagined, right?
mm-hmm.
That it's the boundaries you impose on yourself. It's the limitations that are in your mind.
I think
It makes
so.
me feel better.
And I think if you've ever watched an interview of Olympic athletes, quite often many of them have a story in their life about how they learned that. And for some of them, it's quite tragic: loss of a family member, or a sick family member, or a family with disabilities, or somebody told them something at some time in their life. There's like a very sharp thing in their life that broke or smashed that boundary. It's not like it like bent open and then broke. It's like it was shattered. And that's why they're Olympic athletes, because they have no limitations that they can't accomplish. So
we're going to be Olympic athletes of our business.
Yeah, kind of. I like that analogy. It's right. Always learning, always training, always better. Right. Never thought enough. Never idea is couldn't be better or improved by somebody else.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I like that. Do you have any other fears?
Well, I mean, as a parent, it's terrifying as your kids get older and go through different phases. You know, you have a kid, you have this infant. My daughter was born, and then my wife spent the night in the hospital, and then the next day they packed her in a car seat and like, here. And I just very powerful image in my head. She was so little, and like, you know, the sleeper's like so big, she's like lost in it and the thing. And they're like, what do you mean here? Like, you're gonna give her to, I'm taking, like, you're just gonna give her to me?
Where's the instruction
so
manual?
Like, yeah. And now as they get older, learning that they need different things at different times. They need different emotional stability, different like this, the fear that you can't provide that or be that person you need them to be, right?
Yeah.
You know, especially in the meantime, if you're dealing with something like a pandemic, or, you know, a pending hip surgery, or, you know, everyone's got these pressures, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that one. I always think, am I saying this the right way to my children? Am I supporting them the right way? When I have reached my brink and I lose it, like, oh my gosh, I yelled at him. Is this the moment that he'll remember forever and be like, well, when I needed my mom the most, like, am I doing the right thing, and what impact am I having? And am I making enough good impacts to negate the times that I mess up?
Yeah, 100%. And to be honest, taking conversations or stuff like this and putting it out for the world to see is also terrifying.
Yes.
I can put a little graphic that talks about whatever management systems, or I can make a little video on feedback or this, but like standing in front of, like, here I am, this is what I'm trying to do. It scares the shit out of me, but I get up every day and do it anyways, and I'm hoping to be successful. Like that, right?
Well, and I mean, you did your origin story, and then you did your follow-up. I saw the one on Friday of your
oh, awesome.
Purchasing each, which is amazing. Beautiful, by the way. And I think I haven't done it yet, and I know we're supposed to start our stories, and I haven't started mine yet because of that fear. There's a lot of fear of being vulnerable, and actually I'm still getting better at being vulnerable. It's something I have to practice, and I was very, very bad at it, to the point where me and my husband ended up having to go to marriage counseling, because he's like, and it was interesting. The counselor said to me, like, Caitlin, I understand you put walls up at work. We're in a workplace still that we're not totally an emotionally aware workplace yet in a lot of places, and especially oil and gas and construction. They're very much not emotionally aware workplaces. And she said, but you have to learn how to take the walls down and then put them back up again if you need them. And eventually you won't need them as much, because you'll become more aware, and you'll become more comfortable being vulnerable. And that was so good. Like, she didn't just try to shatter my world by tearing them down right away, because that would have been devastating, I think, to me. But yes, vulnerability scares me. It does.
Again, back to what we said before, right? The scariest stuff is the best.
It's true.
I filmed those 2 videos, and to be honest, I had an idea what I was going to talk about, but stuff just came out that I didn't plan on saying. It was kind of freeing. It's like, just, this is what I'm thinking about. This is pretty real stuff.
So you only did one take?
Yeah, only one. And I think that's important.
I think that's important.
Unless you stumble or trip up your words so bad that you're annoyed by that, but like.
Or your husband walks through in the background naked.
I think the fact that it scared me, I probably checked the views on those videos way more than any other, right?
Right. Yeah, I believe it. That's, it's kind of like opening yourself up there to be criticized, and you hope that people are kind.
Right. And I think I liked how Brene Brown puts it, right? She say, embrace the suck. And she says, you got to put it out there. It's going to hurt, and you will get knocked down. And she says, like, it's not that you might get knocked down. You will. You have to be ready or willing to accept that. I might put that out there, and someone might come back and say, you are the biggest, most pompous SOB in the world. Like, I can't even believe you. Hopefully they don't, but that's, I guess, part of the game, having that courage. And that is one of our corporate values and a personal value for myself.
It is, yes.
Yeah, so.
All right, so I will make it my goal to overcome my fear of posting my origin story.
Okay, origin story. Okay. Now I need a goal. Well, what did I say? Scariest thing for me is talking about this to people closest to me. Maybe that should be my goal. Next time I see my parents, I will tell them what I'm doing. Ooh.
Well,
Okay.
I'm here for you if you need to
I
have
need
a
a
drink
drink
after a
that.
debrief. I'm definitely here for you.
Okay. Wow, this was actually kind of a freeing conversation.
It was. Yes, thank you.
Likewise.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.